The starving children. The planet was silent under a dying sun. Broken cities stood like skeletons, and the wind carried the sound of hunger. In the ruins lived a group of alien families who had once belonged to a proud race. Now their children were thin, weak, and desperate. Their eyes were too large for their faces, and their voices cracked when they cried for food. Humans had arrived months ago. They were soldiers, traders, and explorers. They came to keep order and to collect resources. Most humans looked at the alien children with pity, but few dared to share their food. Every ration was counted. Every grain of rice was needed for their own survival. But one young human stood different. His name was Daniel. He was not a commander or a leader. He was just a supply officer. His job was to keep track of boxes, numbers, and shipments. Yet when he saw the starving children, something inside him could not stay quiet. He remembered his own childhood of scarcity. He remembered nights when his mother cried because there was no food left. He remembered the kindness of a neighbor who once shared a small piece of bread. That memory had stayed with him. Daniel carried a small bag of rations through the camp one evening. He saw a little alien boy sitting alone. The boy's skin was pale and cracked. His hands shook as he tried to drink water from a broken cup. Daniel bent down and offered him a packet of dried fruit. The boy looked at him with wide, glowing eyes. The boy hesitated, then slowly reached out and touched Daniel's hand. "You will not understand now," the boy whispered in a weak voice. "But the stars will remember this." Daniel froze, his heart raced. He thought maybe the boy was only speaking nonsense, but the way he said it carried a strange weight, as if the words were not his own, as if he repeated something older and far greater. The other children gathered when they saw the fruit. Daniel shared more from his bag. He gave biscuits, dried beans, and water. The children laughed for the first time in weeks. Their small voices filled the ruins with life. The sound was so fragile yet so powerful. Behind him, a human soldier shouted, "Daniel, what are you doing? That food is not for them." Daniel stood and faced the soldier. "They are starving," he said quietly. "They are children. What kind of people would we be if we watched them die?" The soldier shook his head and walked away, muttering about rules and orders, but Daniel knew deep inside that he had chosen something that mattered. That night, as the sky grew darker, whispers began to spread among the alien elders. They had seen what Daniel had done. They spoke in hushed voices about a prophecy, about humans who would one day feed their young and awaken something ancient. The words moved like fire through the camp, carried from elder to elder, until even the smallest child repeated them. Daniel sat alone by a broken wall. He looked at the stars above. He thought about the boy's words. The stars will remember this. What could that mean? Why would the stars care about a small act of kindness? In the distance, shadows moved. Unseen eyes were watching. Other empires had spies on this ruined planet. They observed the human feeding the alien children. They whispered among themselves, "Why are humans doing this? What do they expect to gain?" The spies did not understand, and that lack of understanding made them afraid. Daniel did not know he had already set something in motion, something that would change the galaxy. To him, it was simple. A child was hungry, and he had food, that was all. But in that small act of kindness, a seed was planted, a promise made, a chain of events already pulling toward the night. The children slept with full stomachs for the first time in many days. Their dreams were filled with strange lights, voices and visions of stars bowing low. One child whispered in her sleep, "The gift is coming." Daniel could not sleep. He sat awake and listened to the silence. Yet the silence was not empty anymore. It carried something unseen, a presence, a mystery, and as the night deepened, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if they truly were watching. The starving children had been fed, but what Daniel did not yet know was that he had crossed into a story far greater than himself, a story where kindness would unlock a gift hidden in darkness, a gift that even the stars feared. The whispers of the night, the camp was quiet. The alien children slept with soft breaths, their bellies no longer empty. Daniel sat near the fire, his eyes heavy but his mind restless. The boy's words echoed again and again. "The stars will remember this." Shadows moved beyond the firelight. Old alien elders walked slowly, their cloaks dragging on the dust. They looked at Daniel not with pity, not with fear, but with something deeper. Respect mixed with caution. One of them, an elder with silver lines across her skin, spoke softly, "Human, you have done what few would dare. You have fed our young, you must know. Such an act is not forgotten." Daniel frowned. "I don't understand. I only gave them food." The elder leaned close, her voice like wind through broken stone. "Kindness is the oldest power in the universe. When offered to the innocent, it awakens echoes older than empires. You may think it is small, but the stars see it. And the shadows hear it. Daniel felt a chill. The fire crackled, yet the night air grew cold. The children began to stir in their sleep. Some whispered words in their alien tongue. Strange words heavy with meaning. Daniel did not understand the language, but somehow he felt it, as if the words were pressing into his chest. The elders exchanged quick glances. One muttered, "It begins again," Daniel asked. "What begins?" The elder lifted her eyes to the sky. "Long ago, our people made a vow. If ever strangers cared for our young when all hope was gone, we would open the path, but the path is dangerous, human. The gift we keep is not light. It is a shadow that can terrify the stars themselves." Daniel's breath caught. His heart pounded. He wanted to ask more, but the elders turned and walked into the night, disappearing into the ruins. That night, Daniel could not sleep. He heard voices in the wind, soft whispers as if the darkness itself spoke. Some words clear, others broken. "Feed them. The gift waits. Night will open." His skin prickled. He looked at the sky, and for a moment he swore the stars above shifted, forming shapes like eyes staring down. By morning, rumors spread. The alien families told their children, "Remember this human? He is part of the promise." The children began to follow Daniel, smiling despite their weakness. Some even called him the feeder. Other humans grew uneasy. One officer pulled Daniel aside. "What are you doing? Why are they chanting your name?" "This is dangerous. If command hears, they will think you are stirring rebellion." Daniel shook his head. "I'm not stirring anything, I'm just giving food." But deep inside, he knew it was no longer simple. Something had started, something far beyond his reach. That evening, the sky burned red as the sun set. The children gathered again without asking. They formed a circle around Daniel. They hummed softly, their voices trembling, but together, their song rose like a thread of light. The elders watched silently, their faces grim. One of them whispered, "The circle has returned. The night will soon reveal." Daniel felt his chest tighten. He wanted to step away, but he couldn't. He was trapped by the children's innocent faces, by their voices filled with both hope and sorrow. The shadows grew long. The night came fast, and with it came the whispers again, clearer, sharper, almost like commands. "Wait until darkness. The gift must be seen. Protect the young." Daniel pressed his hands against his ears, but the voices did not stop. They were not coming from outside. They were inside his head. In the distance, a watcher moved. A spy from another empire. He saw the children chanting. He saw the human trembling in the circle. He sent a message to his masters. "The prophecy of the feeders may be true. Humans have touched it." Daniel did not know that his act of kindness had already drawn eyes from across the galaxy. Some curious, some fearful, some eager to destroy him before the night revealed its secret. As midnight approached, the camp grew silent again. The fire burned low, and the stars above pulsed brighter. Daniel stood, his heart racing. He knew something was coming, something hidden in the darkness. He looked at the alien boy he had first fed. The boy's glowing eyes met his, and the child whispered again, this time with certainty, "The gift is waiting for you, human. When the night is deepest, it will come." And in that moment, Daniel realized the night was not just empty sky. It was a door, and it was about to open. The test of kindness. The morning came heavy with clouds. The camp felt restless. Whispers of last night's strange chants still echoed. Daniel tried to focus on his duty, counting crates and marking supplies, but eyes followed him everywhere. Alien children smiled when they saw him. Alien elders nodded with silent respect, but many humans frowned. A captain approached, his voice sharp. "Daniel, command has noticed your behavior. You are giving away rations without orders. This cannot continue." Daniel swallowed hard. "They are starving, Captain. If we turn our backs on children, then what are we even protecting here?" The captain's eyes narrowed. "Our people, our soldiers, our survival. These aliens are not our concern. If you continue, I will have no choice but to report you." Daniel felt a storm rising inside him, but he stayed calm. He only said, "Do what you must, but I cannot stop feeding them." Later that day, Daniel saw a group of alien children digging in the dirt, searching for roots, their hands shaking. He dropped to his knees and helped them, pulling food from his own pack. One little girl touched his face and whispered, "The darkness waits, the gift is nearby." Human soldiers watched, their faces hard. One muttered, "He's betraying us." For them, by nightfall, tension grew. Rations were short. Arguments broke out. Some soldiers said they should leave the aliens to die. Others stayed silent, afraid to choose sides. Daniel stood alone, carrying more food to the alien camp. Then came the test. A transport truck was attacked outside the ruins, crates of food scattered in the dust. The soldiers rushed to recover them. Daniel saw the alien children running toward the wreckage, hungry and desperate. Human soldiers raised their rifles to push them back. Daniel stepped in front of the children, his arms wide. "Stop. They need this more than we do," a soldier shouted. Daniel moved. "This is for us," but Daniel did not move. He shouted back, "If you want to shoot, then shoot me first, because I will not let them starve again." The air froze. Rifles aimed. Tension crackled like lightning. For a moment it seemed the camp would break into war. Then the alien elders stepped forward, their voices deep and unshaken. "He is being tested. Let the choice be made." Daniel looked at the elders, confused. "Tested? What do you mean?" The eldest elder's eyes glowed faintly. "Long ago we swore, the one who feeds our young in times of despair must face the trial. The gift cannot be given without sacrifice tonight, human. Your choice will decide if you are worthy." The human soldiers hesitated. Confused by the alien words, some lowered their rifles. Others cursed and walked away, muttering that Daniel had lost his mind. Daniel turned back to the children, their faces full of hope. He lifted a crate of food and handed it to them. "Eat," he said softly. "You will not go hungry tonight." And when he said those words, the air shifted. A low hum rolled through the ruins. The ground trembled. The stars above flickered. The children began to sing again, their voices soft but filled with power, the same strange chant from before. The sound climbed higher and higher, until even the humans who hated it felt shivers crawl down their skin. Daniel stood in the center, surrounded by small hands holding pieces of bread, dried fruit and water, their eyes glowing brighter with every bite. He did not understand, but he felt it. Something ancient was waking, something tied to the act of kindness itself. In the shadows, the spies from other empires watched. They sent frantic messages. "The human has passed the trial. The prophecy moves forward." Daniel looked at the sky. His heart pounding, he whispered to himself, "What have I done?" And in that moment, the night answered with a deep voice that only he could hear. "You have chosen mercy over survival, and so the stars will open the path." The gift in the shadows. The night fell heavier than before. The stars above seemed sharper, brighter, as if they were watching. The campfire burned low. Shadows stretched long. The alien elders approached Daniel in silence, their cloaks brushing against the dirt. The eldest elder spoke, her voice deep. "Human, you have passed the test. You chose mercy. Now the path opens. Come with us." Daniel's heart raced. He wanted to refuse, to say he was only doing what felt right. But something inside pulled him forward. He followed the elders, their steps leading him beyond the ruins, past broken walls and forgotten towers, into the heart of the night. The children walked behind him silent, their glowing eyes guiding the way. Their small hands carried no weapons, no fire, yet the darkness seemed to bend around them, protecting them. They reached a shattered temple half buried in the earth, its gates carved with strange symbols that pulsed faintly under starlight. Daniel stopped, his breath caught. "What is this place?" the elder whispered. "The chamber of the gift, built before even our memory. It opens only when one feeds our young in times of despair. No empire has ever unlocked it. Until you—" Stone doors groaned as the children pressed their small hands against them. Light spilled from cracks, golden and cold. The earth shook. Dust rained from above. Slowly the gates opened, revealing darkness deeper than night itself. Inside, Daniel saw shapes, a massive shadow resting in silence. Its surface shimmered like metal, and yet it felt alive. It was a ship, ancient and vast, sleeping in the hollow of the earth, Daniel whispered. "A warship," the elder nodded. "Not just a warship. A star child, older than empires, forged to guard innocence. It answers only to one truth: kindness to the helpless. That is why it sleeps, waiting. Until one worthy awakens it." Daniel's knees felt weak. "Me, I am no warrior, I am no leader. Why me?" The boy he first fed stepped forward, his eyes glowing brighter than ever. "Because you gave when you had little. Because you cared when no one else would. The stars chose you." The ship stirred, its dark surface rippling like water. Whispers filled the chamber, voices not human, not alien, but something in between. "The feeder has come. The circle is complete. The gift shall rise." Daniel clutched his head. The voices thundered inside his skull. He fell to one knee, but the children surrounded him, placing their small hands on his shoulders. Their touch steadied him. The warship's core flared with light. A great eye opened at its center. Glowing with fire and shadow, it stared at Daniel. Measuring him, testing him, you fed the young. The voice rumbled. You gave mercy when others chose fear. Will you carry the burden of the gift? Daniel trembled. What burden? To guard not with conquest, but with compassion. To wield power not to rule, but to protect. This is the path if you fail. The stars will burn. Daniel felt the weight of galaxies pressing on him. He wanted to refuse, to run, yet when he looked at the children, their thin faces now lit with hope, he found his answer. He stood tall, his voice firm. I will carry it, whatever it is. I will not let them suffer again, the ship roared. Its hull vibrating. The chamber shook as the ground split. Beams of light shot into the sky. Piercing the night, every star seemed to tremble. Fleets far across the galaxy turned their heads, sensing the awakening in distant councils. Alien lords whispered in fear. The gift of shadows has returned. And it has chosen a human. Daniel shielded his eyes from the light. The ship's massive form rose slowly, dust falling away. Engines older than time itself began to hum. It was alive again. The elder's voice cracked with awe. You have awakened the star child, human. The galaxy will fear this night. For the gift you hold terrifies even the stars. Daniel stared at the ship, knowing nothing would ever be the same again. The stars tremble, the ground shook as the ancient warship rose from the chamber. Its black surface shimmered with shifting lights, like stars trapped beneath its skin. The air vibrated with power. The alien children stood in awe, their glowing eyes reflecting the giant shadow now awake. Daniel felt his heart pound. He could not believe what stood before him. He was only a supply officer, yet the ship had chosen him. The whispers of the stars echoed inside his skull. Protector, guardian, feeder. You hold the gift. Suddenly, alarms blared in the human camp. Ships appeared in orbit. Not human ships, but enemy fleets. Metallic predators from a rival empire. They had heard the awakening, and they had come to destroy it before it could rise. A soldier ran toward Daniel, his face pale. They are here, dozens of warships. We cannot fight them. We must flee. Daniel looked at the ancient ship, then at the children clinging to his arm, their faces full of fear. He knew he could not run, not now. The elder stepped forward, her voice steady. The gift is not a weapon of conquest. It is a shield. It will rise only if your heart is true human. What will you choose, mercy or destruction? Daniel swallowed. The enemy ships descended, their cannons glowing, ready to burn the ruins. He closed his eyes and whispered, I choose to protect. The warship roared, a deep thunder that shook the night. Its great eye flared, and a barrier of light spread across the sky. Enemy fire rained down, but every blast struck the shield and broke like glass. The children cheered, their voices joining together in song. The ship responded to their voices. Its shield grew stronger, brighter. It was not Daniel alone, it was the children. Their hope, their laughter, their survival. The warship drew strength from their innocence. Enemy commanders shouted in fear, It cannot be. The Star Child lives again. Fleets that once crushed worlds now hesitated, their captains trembling. The warship pulsed, not with fire, but with a warning, a message broadcast across the stars, not words, but a feeling, mercy, compassion, and a promise. Touch the young, and the stars themselves will rise against you. In far councils, mighty rulers felt the message. Their hands shook, their voices broke. The galaxy that once saw humans as fragile, now saw them as something else. Protectors chosen by the gift of shadows. Daniel stood at the heart of it, the whispers filling his soul. He knew he could unleash terrible destruction, but he chose restraint. The shield held firm, driving the enemy fleets back, not with death, but with fear of what could come if they pressed further. The children held his hands, their chants filling the night. Protector, feeder, guardian of mercy. Daniel looked at them, his voice trembling but firm. You are safe now. No one will harm you again. The warship lowered its thunder, the sky cleared, the enemy retreated, and the ruins glowed under the starlight. The elder turned to Daniel, her eyes wet with tears. The galaxy will remember this night, when one human fed the hungry, and the stars themselves bowed. You have changed our destiny. Daniel breathed deep, knowing nothing would ever be the same. He had not only fed children, he had awakened hope, and hope had become a weapon stronger than any fleet. Far away, in hidden chambers of power, rulers whispered. The stars tremble, and it began with a human who chose mercy. and as the children sang under the shield of light, the universe itself seemed to listen.